it had been forecasted. There was a severe thunderstorm. There were supposed to be high winds, potential hail, and oh my God, Jessup, you saw the cloud to ground thunder or lightning. I mean, lightning.
I do see thunder too.
Anyways, the entire time as I drove west to Mandan, I just saw all these cloud to ground lightning strikes. It was phenomenal. I thought it was just fascinating. I was like, ah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast. We're already on episode 10 of season 3. How quickly the season has gone, so fast so far. For some it's gone relatively slow, but we're here with another fun episode. Myself, Mason, along with Mr. Jessup Pelkey, who knows what he's doing over there in the corner. Myself and Becca Pelkey down below. Yeah, Jessup, you're a character. That's for dang sure.
Mm-hmm.
As always, we'd love to thank our presenting sponsor, Hitch Harness, and Mr. Tyler Hall out of Fertile, Minnesota, who had another great run this past weekend over at Red River Valley Speedway. He's gotten a couple races in, so encouraged to see that, and hopefully he gets to get a few more as the weeks go on. Check out hitchharness.com, his company and his products that he has on there, mainly focused on receiver hitches for the back of the truck, but they also have some other products that you can check out, especially if you're a racer, including chassis dollies, pull bar brackets. You can even get some swag if you already own if you already own a receiver hitch, such as Hitch Harness. So be sure to rep the swag around. Be sure to tell other people about it and check out the website because they're continually adding products throughout the summer and throughout the year. And so thank you so much, Tyler, for supporting us on the podcast.
And he has merchandise for the racing team as well. And there's only a few days left to purchase that before the order closes. So if you haven't got your brand new Tyler Hall racing merchandise yet, time is running out. Be sure to hit up his Facebook and social media pages for that.
Thank you for reminding me of that, Becca. I ordered my stuff last night, but I just want to check. Yes, so I believe it closes within 2 days of when we're recording this on the 23rd. So,
Mason, you gotta get this out by tonight. You have to get this out tonight so people will know.
Chop chop.
It might be too late.
We'll get it out. They'll have at least a day. They'll have at least a day to
get it out now. Why are we not going live?
Year this week, so it'll be here soon. Can't wait.
We need to do this live so people will know.
I need to figure out a live setup. I've been trying to work on that for my own stuff, and it hasn't really worked out super well. Eventually, we'll get to that live portion.
Could you imagine us live? Oh,
no,
we would get canceled. Some of us would not be around anymore.
Such as the one that we're missing tonight.
He's the most.
Where's John? Who's John?
Yeah, John's. I think he's soaking up some of the desert sun right now.
In Vegas.
That's not good. That's really not good because the couple things is going to happen to poor John. One, his head's going to look like one of those cherry tomatoes and cherries. What? Yeah. Oh, yes. It'll look like the red flag. Very good. And two, just think of all the poor, harmless animals John's going to kill with the glare. It'll be kind of like a laser beam effect coming off of his head. Kind of like when you take a magnifying glass and you put it over an ant. I really can see John using that as a superpower.
We'll be interested to see if he actually watches this episode and what his thoughts are on that statement.
He says he does watch the episodes he's not on.
What would John's evil, bad guy name be?
Mr. Miserable.
I'll say Mr. Miserable is pretty menacing in itself.
Yeah, that would be pretty good, I guess.
But anyways, we hope he's doing all right in Las Vegas, and hopefully he enjoys the sunshine that they have down there, because sometimes it's very sporadic the way the weather's been up here over the last couple of weeks. But as you can see, the lineup is set with Jessup on the pole, followed by myself and Becca, who's not going to she's not going to be at the rear of the field as long as she doesn't start in park next week.
Not starting in parking this week because we're actually podcasting at a normal time.
Very
Finally.
true.
12:30.
Finally. No.
Oh,
It wasn't too long ago that there were days where we were podcasting at like 11:30 at night for a start time.
yeah, that's true.
Those were the good old days.
Can we get those back?
No, 'cause I won't be. I know I refuse to participate if we do.
Well, we'll do the Western Roundup at 11:30, and then we'll have the controversially non-controversial after hours show, where anything goes.
Controversial after hours.
There's a
You
lot,
can
yeah.
crack open a beverage for that.
I mean, I usually did.
Mason, how do people get to hear all of the controversially non-controversial podcasts?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So a lot of those episodes get uploaded to my personal Patreon page with Mason and Racing videos. I have one or two to upload this week, and so I've been trying to keep up with those. We also do the Western Roundup, which is our Western highlights for the tracks out in Montana, Wyoming, even in Idaho. So we kind
Would
of
you
do
say
that.
would you say they're out west?
They are out west. Did I say that?
They're somewhere out in Montana. It would have been just easier if you said west.
I mean, we're already west in one essence as it is, and so you just go further west, west.
So what happens after like Wyoming and Montana?
Well, then you get really Pacific,
Oh,
specifically Pacific.
oh,
See what he did there?
specifically Pacific?
Yeah,
I
they
don't
got some good
understand the
sprint car racing
specific
out there,
there.
from what I've heard.
They do. They have a lot of 360 and 410 sprints. Real racing.
I've only been out to one racetrack in the state of Washington, and it was a very small track.
Which track was it?
It was, I think it's called Northport Raceway. I might actually have a shirt in my closet. I'll bring it for on these next episodes, but it's the track itself is like, I think it was like a 3/8, but it's in a very small town, and they had like 20 cars there when I was there.
Oh, that's not unlike another track, Casper, who only had 19 or 18 this week. So they're out there scrapping.
Hey, everyone starts somewhere. I don't know if that track is still racing. I'd have to check on that. I'll do a little research on that when I bring that shirt back out.
Let's take a look. What'd
Well,
you
while
call
you-
it again? Northport?
Northport Raceway is what it was called. I was out there in 2008, I believe.
Hmm.
But in the meantime, while he's looking that up, be sure to give us a like and a follow if you haven't already on our Facebook page, and also on the various streaming platforms, including Spotify, Google, and Apple. Be sure to give us a 5-star review if you enjoy our content. We'd love to figure out and know who is all watching our show. We do have beanies, Track Packer beanies. Shout out to KCU Status. I still need to get you the beanie. He reminds me every time I see him at the track. He's like, "Where's my hat?" I'm like, dang, I left it in the car. So,
Mason.
yeah, I know. Just get a hold of one of us. We'll be sure that you're equipped with a beanie, because it's still kind of beanie season, depending on where you go, especially this last weekend, which you'll find out you definitely could have used a beanie. But outside of that, we haven't even gotten to how everyone's doing. Becca, how are you doing this week?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question. For the PC-ness, I'll just say I'm good. Hoping for better weather this weekend.
I like
that,
the
and
snaps.
plus the whole pregnancy journey, I'm sure is just fun to deal with at the same time.
Patience grows even thinner than it used to be. So, once again, Dakota Speedway. Do we want to even? We'll just wait to the track reports. There we go. How about that? Yeah, I'm just
Not happy? Who would have thought?
I'm a little annoyed, but otherwise, in my non-racing world, I'm doing just fine.
Perfect. Jessup, how are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. All things considered, about ready to be done with school. Got about two or three more days left, and then I don't have to deal with the kids Then we can go have some nice, polite discussions to figure out how we can make things easier and simpler for racetracks.
Yeah, and this is like the first weekend. We're going to touch on it later in the episode, but things kind of start picking up really quick from this weekend on. And so, yeah, this was kind of a low key weekend, even though I traveled further west than I am currently. And it was really relaxing to kind of be at home for a couple of days. And so I enjoyed myself. And now I'm gearing up for the really busy part of my season. And I just need to get through the next week and a half, run the full marathon, and we're in the clear. So I'm looking forward to getting that all behind me.
Is that when the Fargo one is?
June 1st.
Oh, for fudge's sake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's at a rough
for
time
any of
this year.
this.
It would have been this last weekend normally.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you know
I
what,
can't.
you know who you can blame for that?
Jay?
No, it was Cody. Was it Cody Johnson? Is that the country singer?
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, there's a country singer named Cody Johnson. Is he?
Yeah, he was at the Fargo Dome this last week, and so
Ooh.
yeah.
I've never even heard of him.
Well, when someone was like, because I think it was, well, actually, because like a couple of people I knew went to that concert, and I'm like, that must be a country guy, just because it sounds like a generic name. No offense.
Wow. Wow. What do you listen to?
I listen to more pop stuff, not so much country. I have a
Felicia-
smidge of country in my playlists.
Felicia McSpank Bank or something like that?
It's a little exotic for my tastes.
Ah.
See, we need
Felicia Mc less Spank Bank? No? Less exotic?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Felicia McSparkles?
I listen to Spotify playlists, not so much like radio stuff.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts too, so that kind of takes up most of my time. Including this one, because I have to always listen back to make sure we didn't screw up or we have to what we can do to improve for future episodes.
Make sure everything is PC and it won't offend people. It's usually half of what John says.
Yes, usually it's John that I have to correct or cut out some material. With that, we'll wave the green flag and officially start episode 10 with Who or What Are You Repping? Mr. Chesapeake, who or what are you repping?
Well, I pulled out another shirt from the if I don't wear it now, it's going into the donation pile shirt bank. So the obscure shirts, it's actually a really cool looking one. It's Jeff Streeter Motorsports from Chowchilla, California. And let's see if we can get the back shot. Tell me when I'm in camera view. Can you see the face? Kind of a fun shirt. I like it. But unfortunately, I have a lot of fun shirts. And if there's any that you fancy or are interested in, please message Mason so you can get yourself a free shirt that Mason will deliver to you.
He's got a great point because it's more likely I'll see you somewhere on my travels rather than the Pelkeys or John.
Hey, if you're in Jamestown or around Bismarck or Tri-County or Southwest or McLean County, you got a good chance of seeing us. However, if you're not, you're going to have to pay shipping and handling to me, and I will have Mason ship it out to you.
So, yeah, so you're going to ship it to me and then I ship it out. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll drop it off with you and then you can ship it out.
Cool.
Hey, that also reminds me, Mason, I have something for you.
Oh.
A little memento from Dakota Speedway, and it's parting with soda.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like I have a guess of what it might be.
It'll be something good for the garage.
Yeah.
It's not the one I wanted to get you because that one kind of disappeared before I got to it. And so you got the one that remained.
Okay. I have a good idea on what it is.
Yep, you probably do, but just throwing that out there for you, bud.
Sweet. Looking forward to it. Yeah, because I was hoping to come and see you guys this last weekend, but yeah, Mother Nature had other plans.
You could have hung out with us. You made choices. You made it rain out in River Cities.
I mean, I'll take partial blame
That's the
for it.
features. They
Yeah,
got
so
two
you got some
features.
feature races in.
The
That's
wrong
technically a full
classes.
show, no refunds.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That could also go under the controversial, non-controversial podcast as well. But anyways, I'm wearing a Jeff Streeter shirt from Chowchilla, California. It's really fun. I really like the color scheme on it. It gives me mid 2000 vibes. And yeah, it's really nicely laid out. So if anybody wants it, let Mason know. He will deliver it to you. And remember to send all shipping and handling to the um, Pelkey household.
Chowchilla, California, I know we've had several modified drivers come from out in that area. So that's what I wonder what tracks are in that area. I can't remember exactly.
I think I know of one in a general California area. It's Paul Stone's racetrack, owned by Paul
What?
Stone of Paul Stone's Race Cars and Racetracks.
Shut up. I hate you.
It's a good thing John's not here because he'd pile into this too.
Hey, Becca, what are you wearing tonight?
Go ahead, Becca.
I'm glad we chit-chatted a little bit about wins of the week before we hopped on live, because that reminded me I was going to wear this shirt on this particular week with Memorial Day weekend coming up. So, so big racing weekend in the racing world, not only for dirt track race tracks across the country, but also some of the bigger NASCAR series, or sorry, racing series across the world. So F1, Indy 500, got the Coca-Cola 600. So last year, Jessup's mom and stepdad actually went to Monaco for the Formula One race and picked up Jessup and I a shirt from F1. And this is the shirt they got us. Jessup has one.
Yep.
This is mine. Super nice. I just had this conversation about how font selection is important so you can read the entire word and not just the first letter. Anyway, so this is my Formula One shirt that Jessup's mom and stepdad picked up for us. Or this one is mine specifically from last year's Formula One race in Monaco. So pretty cool. But yeah, that they'll be racing Monaco is like in Africa or whatever, France. I don't know. What? Spain? Oh, okay. Whatever. Well, they're going to be racing like what in the middle of the night, and then we got the Indy 500 around noon. What?
It's not during the middle of the night. It's like morning time for us.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Sure. Great. Yay. Well, anyways, I don't watch F1. I don't. Sorry.
So, just
I
because I feel like it.
That's a warranted caution.
Somewhere out there, Jason Meininger will probably catch wind of this episode, and
or Sean Volk.
Yeah, they're a really big F1 fans. So, yeah, sure. I'm already in the back. I don't give two so.
Well, you should, because technically, if you get another one, John will start ahead of you at the next race.
Ooh, so worried.
And with that, taunting the flag man.
Taunting the flag man.
You will not taunt or flip the bird to the flag man.
I was just playing possum. I'm back.
And because you played possum, caution, black flag.
Well, it's been a while since we've had a caution flag. We've been well behaved on this show this year so far.
Most of us have been factual all year until this point. So
well, we haven't really had to fact check a whole lot just because we haven't had too much racing to start with, and so that might be part of it too.
Anyways, I knew the F1 race really early. I don't know, and not that I would wake up for that. Usually, most Memorial Day weekends, I'd be hungover and I'd be sleeping. So that won't be the case this year. Maybe I'll actually wake up for the Formula One race. We'll never know. But Indy 500, I'm super excited for because Kyle Larson, he qualified 5th for the Indy 500 this year. Hopefully the weather holds out so he can actually race and participate in the 500 because there's a very small chance if they have to push that race back, he might have to miss the 500 altogether to fulfill his NASCAR obligations at the Coca-Cola 600. So it'll be an interesting Sunday in the motorsports world.
Yeah, part of a very
Alright.
busy Memorial Day weekend for sure. So that's a cool shirt though. I forgot that your family went to Monaco.
Monaco.
Mhm.
Yep.
Nice. No, that'll be a really
Yes.
cool opportunity to see something like that.
My stepdad said it was the boringest race to watch ever because they go by
Yes.
you, and then next thing you know, and now we gotta watch the TV again.
Let me guess. Max Verstappen won, and by a lot.
I don't know. Let's look that up.
Well,
Mason, what are you wearing?
while he's looking that up, I'll go through what I'm wearing. I got a new hat this weekend. Actually, I got a couple new hats. This is the 82T of Tyson Grinstead. He's an IMCA hobby stock racer out of Stanley, but he lives down in Bismarck and works out of there now. And so I believe this is his second or third season in the IMCA hobby stocks. And he wasn't at Estevan on Saturday with his brother because he was at that silly country concert in Fargo. So I gave him a little grief for that on Sunday. For the koozie, this is just a My Race Pass koozie for fantasy racing, which I'm trying to keep up with that as much as possible throughout the first few weeks of the year, especially trying to make sure I get all the tracks picks in, which is a feat in itself when you get to the track and all the tracks open up their picks at once. And so for the shirt, another thing that's starting up this weekend, part of a busy dirt track racing weekend, got a new Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour t-shirt to rep for this upcoming year. And
Nice.
so that'll be kicking off this weekend. We'll touch on that a little bit later on in the episode, but that is who and what we are repping for episode 10. So moving on to our next segment, which is our hot sauce, hot memory rewind. We want to give a shout out to our good friend Issac Hot Sauce Sondrol, the IMCA modified driver out of Turtle Lake. Got a top 5 this past weekend up in Mina, and so another good strong run for him. Continuing on with his pretty good start to the year. He's got some good speed, just needs to work on a few adjustments, is what he said, and hopefully they'll find victory lane soon. So be sure to stop by in the pits, check out all the goodies they have at the Sondrol Snack Shack. They had some really good stuff this past Sunday. It was super, super tasty. So
What'd
recommend
they have,
stopping by.
Mason?
What did they have,
What'd they
Mason?
have? You can't just leave us on that.
I can't remember what they were called is the problem. It was basically
Use
like
your words.
it was like a Hershey Kiss on top of like this peanut butter.
Blossom.
Yeah, it was a
Blossom.
blossom. Yeah,
Oh,
it was really good. So definitely stop by. You never know what they're gonna have there. And so thank you so much, Isaac, for supporting us on the Track Packers podcast. And Jessup, hopefully you got some good ones for us to guess because we don't have our Rain Man here to help us.
well, Mason, I'm going to take it easy on you this week. Since you and Becca are going to have to go after this on your own. You know the rules, everybody. You got to get the year. Only 1 year for this.
Okay.
And you got to name the drivers. All right. You ready for your first one?
Yes.
This should be an easy one.
Becca, you want to get the guess?
Year was 2004.
Okay.
That's actually a good guess on the year. And that's Mitch Johnson.
That is correct.
Probably show the other two before we fully agree on the year.
All right. Well, you're one
They all
for
in
one.
the same year.
Yep.
Is it the big red trailer that gave it away?
Yeah. Yes, Jessup.
Sure.
All right. This should be another pretty easy one.
Hold still.
Did Hank Berry really have a car like that?
That's the first name that came to my mind.
I'm guessing Hank Berry, but
Well, I'm going to help you guys out here. It is indeed Hank Berry, and there's one besides the number, there's a very distinctive sponsor that we can find on here.
Hotel Albert.
Hotel Albert.
oh, yep. Okay.
Well, that's what I was trying to read because he kept moving, and I was like,
I'm just so excited.
I didn't recognize like the Dairy Queen sponsorship on there. I'm like, what? So
That's
All
a-
right, the last one. This one might be a little tougher.
I think that's Ricky Weiss.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, you guys would be mistaken. You all met this individual last year.
At
Oh,
the
Harry Hansen?
That is Handsome Harry from Gary.
Dang it. I was going off the font of the 7 because I recognize that from
Yep.
Ricky Weiss's.
One of the big sponsors for them has always been Mr. Nick's Bar. And that is probably one of his prettiest cars he's ever had, I think, in my opinion. That green, white, and orange, very sharp combination there. Love you, Harry and Vicky. Hope you guys are having a good season. And yeah.
So what years were they all from? Are they from the same?
Well, you are in the 2000s. That is correct.
I know it's, well, I can
However,
eliminate 2003 because I remember Hank's from 2003.
okay, it is not 2004.
Okay.
I feel like that's such a different look for Hank Berry. It has to be earlier versus later 2000s.
See, I remember overnight, so it said overnight wraps on Hank's car, and I feel like that wasn't until later in the 2000s, but I don't think it was super late in the 2000s. So I'm going to guess 2006.
Here's one more look at all of them. There's Hank. Here is Mitch. And here is Harry.
I never knew Harry back then, but
You wouldn't know.
7.
Becca's closest so far. It's 2010.
Really? Wow.
So, good job. We got 2 out of 4.
Mason was right.
Yep.
Overnight.
Overnight wraps. So, there you go. Another fun week of going down memorable memory lane.
Yeah.
Say that a lot. Memorable memory lane.
See, it's not as easy you think it is it?
No, it's not easy, but it's not terrible. It's very
doable.
feasible. Yep.
Well, thank you once again, Jessup, for another edition of the Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind. So,
Hot memory.
moving on into our track packer report, which is probably going to be more one-sided for this week's edition, but did the Pelkeys get to take in any racing at all, whether you watched it in person or online?
I watched everyone race away from the track and race the rain.
I was at the track and watched everyone drive away.
Yep.
So I'm curious because my Friday was adventurous too. We got stormed out, but we got some feature races in where I was at. Was it a big storm that rolled through, or was it kind of just like steady rain?
It was steady, but it was also hard at the beginning. So to answer your question, and the long boat, the short boat, we were at the track. We saw race cars. We saw, is it Troy Geronimo?
Yes, from Williston.
I felt bad for him. I was really excited to see him, and then he didn't get to race, and then I felt bad. And then after that, it rained, and it rained hard. And then we went out to eat, and it was still raining. And then we looked out the window, and there was a double rainbow, and it was beginning to form a triple rainbow, which I've never seen before. So I was kind of stoked about that. And then guess what happened after it, Mason?
Clear skies?
It rained some more.
Oh, it did.
It rained clear into the next day.
Oh, dang.
True story.
Yeah, so I had decided to go to Grand Forks, and I thankfully got tied up in work, so that made my decision way easier to go to Grand Forks, and I was still late. I saw the radar and I saw the clouds as I was heading north out of Fargo, and I'm like, that's a little bit closer than what was expected. So I figured they were going to get some of the race night in, and unbeknownst to me until I got there, they actually started, I think, about 5 minutes before 7 in Grand Forks. And they usually run an efficient program there anyways, but they were really clicking through the heat. So I got there like at 4 minutes after 7. They were already on their third class cars. So like they were hauling. And so I got there, got to see the sprint car heats and sort of late model heats. They had lightning sprints along with their street stocks and Midwest mods. And they pretty much immediately put the street stock feature out on the track right after the last heat of late models were done. So they were trying to at least get 1 or 2 features in, so that way they had an official night. And so, which that could be another topic to discuss at some point too. At this point, you kind of saw this, like, I think it was part of the same storm, Amanda, but you kind of saw the same kind of cloud part of that storm on the north side, and you just see this like wall start building up. And this point was like 20 minutes out, and like, yeah, we're not going to get the entire race night in. So we'll see how many features we get in. They got 2. They got the street stocks and the Midwest mods before, and as soon as the Midwest mod checker flag flew, the wind picked up 40 miles an hour, and it looked like a dust storm. So it didn't take long to clear everyone out of the property after that. But out of the 2 races they got in street stocks, the winner was Greg Josie in the 28 machine in front of Trey Hess and Aaron Blackglance. And Josie led that from start to finish. No one was even close to him. So big win for Greg Josie. That is actually his first win in Grand Forks in 10 years. So
Wow.
the long time stint for wins in Grand Forks. He's won at Devils Lake a few times in between then, but I didn't realize it was 10 years. So great win for Greg Josie. And then no surprise in the Midwest Modifieds, Matt Scow was your winner there in front of Jory Berg and Austin Hunter. And Matt Scow already off to a strong start in this year. And so that was the racing that we got in on Friday night in Grand Forks. And I think everyone got out there before the rain hit. It was mainly like wind for like the first 10-15 minutes, and then the rain kind of came in, but it was nasty. Like that was a nasty storm that rolled through. So hopefully everyone got out there all right. I didn't hear anything from the storm, any issues with that. And so that moves on to Saturday. I went up north of the board to the Estevan Motor Speedway. Becca, I know you watched the broadcast of Estevan. What did you think watching the broadcast of it?
The track prep that night was just spot on, because every feature throughout the night was super racy, 2, 3, 4 wide racing, battling for position, tight battles for the lead, over just a phenomenal night of racing, just super great racing through all of the racing divisions.
Yeah, and you always go up there. You and Jessa both go up there for the mod tour, where it's much warmer in the middle of July. Have you ever been up there when it's like chilly at all?
Never.
This was a very stereotypical Estevan opener: chilly, sunny, and windy. Like it never fails every season opener. I'm up there in like 3 to 4 layers, but thankfully the wind was kind of like it was coming out of the west, so that way the stands were kind of blocking it. So I kind of spend a lot of my time in front of the grandstand taking video. And so, like Becca said, excellent track prep. Like they had dust flying in hot laps, and so they watered it and packed it in. But it was like multi-groove, relatively smooth, and like you could race across that track all night long. It was crazy to see. It had a pretty good car count in all the classes as well, highlighted by 18 slingshots. And so that's pretty incredible. They actually did 2 features for the slingshots. I think kind of just to help with, like, some of them are very, very new racers, and like the speed discrepancy when they race on the big track can be kind of hectic with 10 plus slingshots. So they kind of split it up, did like the top 5 from each heat going into one, and then the rest into the other. And so I thought that was a smart move, especially for the first night of the year. Maybe as it goes on and they get more experience, they might stick them all into one feature. But speaking of slingshots, the 2 feature winners there were Sladen Pfeiffer out of Minot in the 11 machine and Weston Uranker in the 31X out of Williston. So a lot of good young drivers there. It's a really good foundation class for a lot of the racers that race in the other classes up in Estevan. And like there's been a lot of racers that have come out of that racing division. So then going into the sport mods, they had 20 of those on hand, and that was highlighted by Keenan Glosser picking up the win in a very spirited battle between Brian Kettner and Gabe Deschamps. Robbie Roselli was also in the mix. They kind of exchanged, well, Kettner led most of that race, and then Keenan kind of got by him in lap traffic and held off the challenges from Deschamps and Roselli at the end of that race. And so good kickoff for the feature races in the sport mods. The IMCA stock cars went to the number 17 of Austin Doe. Now, he had some trouble in his heat race, started pretty close towards the back, and he always gravitates to the high side, and I always kind of get a chuckle when everyone kind of gravitates down low. It's just like, you left the lane open for Austin Doe. What are you doing? but left the lane open. He got to the front and had a late challenge from Kyle Schulp, but he was able to hold his ground and get the win. Schulp was second, and Gabe Deschamps had off a good run in the sport mods, was third. And then the modifieds, which I would arguably this is what was the race of the night, but you could kind of flip it with the hobby stocks as well. Stephen Pfeiffer checked out to a big lead. That race went bell to bell, no caution flags. There was a big battle between Cody Schulp, Aaron Turnbull, and Travis Hagen. They were exchanging sliders, going 2 and 3 wide throughout the race. Steven's car looked like it was getting pretty tight towards the end of that race, especially going to turn 1. And so Cody got to second and was catching him fast with just a few laps to go and made the race winning pass and lap traffic. So big congrats to Cody Schulp for winning in the IMCA modifieds, followed by Stephen Pfeiffer, and Travis Hagen ended up getting around Aaron Turnbull for third late in that race. And then the hobby stocks finished off with another great race. A lot of strong local talent there. They had 17 cars there. Turned into a photo finish between the 98H of Caden Jortlin and Landon Runge. Landon found some grip the last 3 or 4 laps, was reeling him in. Came up just a little bit short. I think the margin of victory was 28 thousandths of a second for Jortlin getting the win. So great race in the hobby stocks. Runge was second, and Connor Hansen in the 15 machine was your third place finisher. And so that was the results up in Estevan. Great to see their season kick off for 2024. Then the final race that we kind of took in was the Nodak Speedway's third night of racing action. They've gotten really fortunate with the weather, and even got more fortunate on Sunday. Becca, Jessup, did you watch anything from Nodak on Sunday?
I did. Very quick, smooth program, despite the fact that they had 2 rain delays. Mother Nature helped with the track prep for them, whether they wanted it or not. But I think it actually made for a better track surface for the features, and more chaotic in Minot than in Estevan. You saw definitely more DNFs and wrecks in Nodak, but still great racing. And I think that is just because Mother Nature helped with some track prep in the heats and right before intermission. But great racing in Minot too. I was very impressed with the racing on Sunday night.
Yeah, there was no shortage of grip and moisture in the track, and the track wasn't rough by any means. Like, it was just, there was some moisture there. Like they had like rain falling during like the heat races, and then like they had like the biggest shot of rain kind of happened with like one heat race to go. So it kind of was like a built-in intermission. So it ended up working out really well. They were able to pack the track in, get that last modified heat race out there, and then moved right on into the features. And so yeah, they did a really good job. Track was in really good condition and definitely provided some fast racing action. The sport mods kind of helped widen that track out to start things off. Really good battle up front early between Cole Handshoe and the 132 at Chad Stretching. Cole was coming off a wreck in Estevan, and I heard they kind of developed like a mobile frame rack at like 4:30 a.m. up in Estevan to get that car fixed. And so he was looking pretty good, pretty sporty in one term or another. See what I did there, Jessup?
Sporty.
I did, man.
The sport mods.
Sporty.
Sport mods.
Looking sporty in a sport mod.
Oh boy.
Yes.
That's
They had a lot of cautions in that race, and Gabe Deschamps, the points leader, tied for the points lead heading into that night, started mid-pack, was slowly making his way to the front, and it looked like Cole was probably going to get his first win of the season there. Gabe Deschamps snuck around him and went on to win the feature race. Cole Handshoe ended up in second, and Chad Stretchin settled for third in the 132. Then moving on into the IMCA hobby stocks, a guy that had a very rough start to his 2024 season, Caden Appelt, was back in a new car, brand new car. They actually had started working on this car over the off season, and with the wreck on opening night, it kind of accelerated the process to get that car back going. So he missed last week, but was back, and he started on the front row, and pretty much from there, it's like, okay, good luck catching the 70 machine. So he cruised on away with the win in front of Alex Twite in the 103 and Jason Ruby in the 23 machine. So, yeah, there was no catching Caden Appelt that night. Then the IMCA stock cars, that was a caution-free race, which turned into be a detriment for the person that crossed the finish line first. And so Will Shareski got out to the lead early. He kind of jumped the restart. He jumped the restart. He started third row, and by the time he got to the flag stand, he was leading. So the rule is at Nodak that if you jump the start, they don't throw a caution for it. Instead, at the next caution or the next flag, they just dock you 2 spots. And so since there was no caution, that meant at the end, Will Shresky got bumped back to third. And so with that, Joe Flory, who was in second, got the feature win. Gabe Deschamps was second, and Will Shresky was your third place finisher. But yeah, caution-free race, and they were hauling around that track. And then the IMCA Modifieds finished off the program with another fierce battle, had a lot of attrition, had a lot of flat tires, had some contact like early in the race, and then kind of under caution, there was some stuff that was going on. And so had a lot of flat tires to kind of take people out of contention. But Chris the Crowbar Tuchscher, who hasn't won in the IMCA Modifieds from my knowledge, up at the Nodak Speedway, he got to the front, held off a late charge from Dalton Flory, who was pretty green in the IMCA Modified still. And so big congrats to the 73T of Chris Tuchscher, Dalton Flory's second, and Brady Biela was your third place finisher. One of the first times we've seen Brady behind the wheel this year. And so that was your night over at the Nodak Speedway, done just after 8:30 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Again, very quick program, despite the fact that they had 2 intermissions, rain delays, whatever you want to call it, to work the track back in. But a very efficient, quick show in Minot, and great racing in their heats and features.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy being done that early. It's like, huh, what do we do with all this time? And so like the Wilson guys are like, hey, we could get back at a decent time. So yeah, so that was the weekend, mainly in North Dakota for this week's Track Pack Report. We'll see what happens for this week with the way the weather's been. I know where I'm at, it's been raining all day. So see what happens come weekend time. But what's upcoming for the big Memorial Day weekend, starting in the state of North Dakota with Mr. Dakota Dirt? Oh, wait, we don't have our ad guy.
We don't have our ad guy. How am I supposed to do this without our ad guy?
Oh, gosh. Let's see if I can do my best Breckle impersonation.
No, this is where you cut and just use an old one.
That would be hilarious.
You know, there is the one-stop shop for everything North Dakota racing news, results, and much more. It is Dakota Dirt. Again, it's Dakota Dirt. They are social. They are on social media platforms. So check them out on Facebook, but also check them out on their website, dakotadirt.org. Again, it is your one-stop shop for everything North Dakota racing news, results, and much more. There is other platforms out there. Don't even bother with them. They're wannabes. So check out dakotadirt.org.
But anyways, this week we are looking at a very busy weekend where it seems like everybody will be opening up, or, well, just about everybody will be opening up. But from Thursday to Monday, if you don't find a race to get to, that will definitely be on your own end, as there are plenty of options to get to the track. Only thing that could probably hinder you is, well, let me put it this way. Only things that will probably hinder you from getting to the track would be Mother Nature, having to work overtime, an angry girlfriend or wife, or you've blown your motor in your daily driver. Those are the only excuses you have to not get to the track. Racing kicks off this Thursday as both the Tri-County and McLean County Speedways will be kicking off their 2024 season. So it'll be a fun night for both of them. Both tracks have a lot to offer for their fans. Plenty of seating at both tracks. Both really fun venues, and you can get yourself some good food at both tracks as well. If you're into golfing, head out early to Tri-County, as they also have a golf course. Now, after that, it will be Friday, and Friday is looking to be Dakota Speedway, Red River Valley, and River Cities. It's not looking good for anybody on Friday, so fingers crossed. Then Saturday, Jamestown will be kicking off their 2024 season with the Rebel Red-Headed Midwest Mod Tour. Am I correct on that, Mason?
I'll accept it.
Perfect. And then they will also be having a fun thing for Becca and I, as we will be having a gender reveal and kind of a racing themed gender reveal. So it'll be pretty fun for us. At least we got a lot of family and friends headed that way. So hopefully Mother Nature plays nice and it's dry enough for everybody to race. Southwest Speedway will be kicking off their 2024 season along with the Thunder Mountain Speedway as well. So plenty of racing to be taken in there on. Oh, and Williston Basin as well will be on their potential second night of the year for them. So
Sorry, did you say Devil's Lake?
no, I did not. I said Thunder Mountain and Williston
Okay.
Basin.
I was going to say, because
And-
Devil's Lake is actually off this week.
Yes, because they made a post earlier this week stating that they're off. So I was aware of that. The
Perfect.
more I know. Anyways, closing out the weekend with the double header is the Nodak Speedway racing Sunday and Monday. And then we are looking at the end of the year. End of the month. Ha 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 ha. Is there Cheyenne? Oh,
I was gonna say, you forgot one.
oh, that's right. Because they never really formally put their schedule out on a actual schedule.
I'd have to double check on this unless they removed it, but they did have a schedule
We had a
poster.
poster.
I didn't see it. Okay, so let's look at this.
I have it on my screen.
Oh,
Oh.
they do have theirs up. Oh, I haven't added that. What? They moved the Bison Battle from Red River over to there?
I
I
feel like
wanted
I think they might have it at both places. I could be wrong on that.
Wow, this is the first that I'm seeing of all this.
March
saying you-
11th. You're behind the times, sir.
Mason, I've had an upset pregnant wife. So with that being said, you both get to stay in your own lane.
Pretty sure I ended one of our podcasts this year with, oh, Cheyenne Speedway came out with their schedule. And I talked about the fact that most of the comments that
Ma'am,
Lisa's covering,
you've been black flagged
like-
for the night, so no fact checking on
I
anyone.
talked about this at the end of one of our podcasts during
We talked about Buffalo, no, not Buffalo River, but well, it was Buffalo River and Ada's. That was
I
tiny.
know I brought this up.
I
So
mean, technically, Jessup, you can't be the one to blame your pregnant wife for this because you are at fault for half of this. Anyways,
Well,
Monday,
that being
Memorial
said-
Day.
Memorial Day, they're having the Red River Sprint Series. Oh, that's awesome! And the Street Stock Tour Series.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
Man, they do have a lot. I really hope they do like they do every Memorial Day where they put all the cars on the salute to the veterans.
That's actually one of the really cool things about the Memorial Day race in Cheyenne.
Yes, I like that a lot, and they've always had good races for their opening event, so that might be a fun one to go to. No, I can't go to that.
you have softball.
I have softball.
They start on Memorial Day?
No, we've already played 3 weeks. We just don't have a say because
Mason,
our infinite
you
wisdom of our board, softball board, they know better and they don't have to play on Memorial Days, but all the other teams that don't get a bye have to play.
Mason, your blanket behind you is moving.
It
Oh,
is.
yes. It's been moving for like the last 5 to 10
Live.
minutes.
Alive.
That's this week's race. I gotta put on 5 more races on this calendar.
Yes, you do. While you do that, there is a lot going on outside the state of North Dakota. We have the KRA Speedway opening up their season on Thursday, the 23rd. And Princeton Speedway has the first of the Mod Nationals that goes Thursday through Saturday across the state of North Dakota. Friday is the opener of the Rebel Minnows Mod Tour over in Brown County Speedway. And Dead Horse Creek Speedway up in Canada is having their first night of a double header. They'll be racing Friday and Saturday. That is outside of Morden, Manitoba. And I believe that is both NRA races. I believe. I'd have to double check on that. Saturday for sure. Fiesta City Speedway also continuing their season, and the Miller Central Speedway is having a doubleheader to open up their season. Ooh, Jessup, they have wingless sprint cars there for both of those
Nice.
nights. So
That'd be fun.
yeah, nice little treat for the folks down in Miller. On Saturday, of course, Cedar Lake running as usual. Mentioned Dead Horse Creek and Miller. Ogilvy Raceway is having the third of the 3 nights of Mod Nationals. The Friday portion is up at the Gondola Speedway up in Superior, who they have not had good luck to start their season. So hopefully they get some good luck on their side weather-wise. Rice Lake Speedway's racing. The first night of the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour is taking place over to Alexandria on Saturday, and they will also be there on Sunday. And to finish out the weekend, Bemidji Speedway is having the Chicken Shack Nationals Sunday and Monday. Casino Speedway Racing, as well as Ogilvy. Oh, actually, Ogilvy's got 2 nights. They also race on Sunday. And then Madison Speedway opens on Memorial Day. So like Jessup said, if you don't get to a racetrack, it's on you.
It really is on you.
I mean,
Or your angry wife.
Lots of options.
yeah, I mean, the lake is cool and everything, but
I see what you did there. It's
The
cool.
water is cold on Memorial Day weekend anyways. Just go to the racetrack.
yeah, like this weekend and Labor Day weekend are like the 2 biggest racing weekends of the summer. So definitely get to at least one racetrack over this next weekend. We've kind of gone a little long in this episode, but just to reiterate, both tours, Rebel Midwest Mod Tour and Street Stock Tour, are kicking off kind of around our neck of the woods. Should see a good turnout. I know there's been a lot of I mean, we're kind of based out of the North Dakota area, but we of the 3 or 4 of us, we go to Jamestown Speedway quite a bit, and we've had a lot of the locals there that have kind of traveled around to other places and have scored a lot of feature wins in the Midwest Mods in particular. So they're gearing up for races around their home areas. So it should be interesting to see how they stack up with the likes of Justin Jones, who was the previous year's champion. I know he's planning to come over for those 2 races, along with Corey Stork, who's also had a strong start to the year. So should be a good field of Midwest Mods to kick things off over at Aberdeen and in Jamestown. And they have 3 weekends taking place throughout the summer. So this weekend, and then they have another swing the following week, I believe, if I remember the schedule. It's hard to remember everything with everything going on. And then towards the end of June, they'll have a 4-day swing. So 3 weeks until the next swing. So first 2 races this weekend, and then the Street Stock Tour, 3 races, Viking Speedway doubleheader and Cheyenne on Monday before they go to I-94 the following week. And so they've had a lot of good street stock car counts over in the Minnesota area, and so it should be a good start to the tour there as well. We'll kind of touch on that as the tours progress. So with that, as we get into our white flag segment and give a shout out to the real deal Brody Carlsrud in the B1 IMCA stock car. Got his car all fixed up, got back out to the Red River Valley Speedway, just wants to work on his car a little bit, get it back to where it was before the wreck. I know he had a little bit of struggle around Friday night, but hey, it's good that he got back out to the racetrack after a rough start to the year. So check out his podcast, The Real Deal with B1. It's got several episodes out. I don't think he posted one last week just because working on a wrecked race car. Yeah, that kind of takes priority, but go over there and support him. Go follow his Facebook page. And thank you so much, Brody, for supporting us on the podcast. So for wins of the week, who has some wins of the week? I got a bunch, but I will save them for last. So that way I don't take anyone's.
Who wants to go first? Becca?
Becca, go ahead.
I'll go first so Jessup has time to look some up.
I don't need to look them up.
He's been doing that the entire episode.
Yeah.
Then you should go first.
Well, I'm going to keep mine on a national level. First, I want to give a shout out to Kyle Larson, representing all of our dirt track guys, and just reminding people that dirt is a way to get to Indy, and a long about way he did it, as he qualified 6th, or was it 5th? Was it 5th? Someone said 6th, but he was in the top 6. And
He's in the Fast 6 or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah, Fast 6.
Someone fell
He was
asleep
5th.
during qualifying.
It was awesome. It was a great nap. As I watched the first round of qualifying and then I took a nap and I needed it. Anyways, it was really great to see Kyle get there and be representing all the dirt guys in America, and I could say in the world too, because there's a lot of good dirt track racers out in Australia, and they all probably feel a lot of pride seeing that one of their own guys is representing them pretty well. And I guess the last couple real dirt track people you could say would be Brian Clausen, Tony Stewart. Since before that, and I guess even Steve Kinzer to an extent, but before that, there's really not a lot of dirt guys recently still scrapping around to get to Indy, and it's really cool to see one of our own get there. Number 2, I'm giving a shout out to the Wilkesboro Speedway for somehow draining that lake.
Monsoon, that lake.
Yeah, they had, what was it? 4 inches of rain in 2 hours.
And I was not there. I was not in the area.
This was not on Mason. I wonder if Caleb was over there or something.
I don't believe so.
Anyways, hats off to those guys. And finally, my final winner is all the NASCAR fans who finally got to see some real action as another dirt boy had to take it to one of the asphalt guys as Recky Stenhouse got wrecked by Kyle Busch and then proceeded to park it in his pit stall and then go on to tell the pit crew and the pit steward, as we can call him, or pit chief, crew chief, that he's going to be waiting for Kyle at the end of the race. And then he went and did an interview and said he was waiting for Kyle at the end of the race. And lo and behold, damn if you wouldn't know it, he was waiting for Kyle at the end of the race. And he just hauled off and clocked him. It was awesome. Between the actual fight and then watching Kyle Busch's tire changing guy or the fuel guy just throwing people around like it was his day job was awesome too. So it was fun to see all that entertainment at just a nice weekend of racing.
Well, and the funny part about it is that, like, once you get stuck in the infield in North Wilkesboro, you can't get out once the race is over.
No, which is even better. Maybe we need to get rid of all the tunnels in and out of the tracks.
That's what Dale Jr. tweeted earlier
Yep.
this.
Good fun. Good old-fashioned fun. And you know what? Good for Ricky to stand on business because, like, how many times do we hear people say, I'm going to handle this, and he's got one coming. And the biggest talker I can always think back to is probably Martin Truex, or after Martinsville, he was like, I'm going to take care of him. If he thinks he's going to win the championship, he's horribly mistaken. And then the rest of the championship was like, oh, I won't get near you. And this is unfortunate that I won't win. And then it was awesome because Ricky stood on business and just clobbered him. Just like old time racing. That's what I'm not one to promote violence at the racetrack, but you know what? That really brought it up another level. It was the talk. I mean, it was literally the talk of the weekend. And it wasn't the fact that Kyle Larson finished in the top 6 for qualifying. It wasn't the fact that he made it back in time. It wasn't the fact that Joey Logano won in convincing fashion. It was the fact that there was, per I say in NASCAR terminology and phrasing, there's a fight.
Yeah, and I just love how the media was just like all there, just circling this, and we got like every angle of how that happened.
There's like 8 different.
And then they all act like, oh my gosh, I didn't think this was going to happen. I was in danger. And I'm like, you were shoving your damn camera right in their face. What'd you think was going to happen?
It was when my phone blew up because I was at Nodak at the time, and I'm like, what the heck did I miss?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And now they're just trying to downplay it. And it's like, come on. You don't bury your best story.
No. No, it's definitely got some good entertainment out of that. So that's a good solid set of wins. I'll give you that. Becca, who are your wins of the week?
My first win of the week goes to the Estevan Motor Speedway because one of their local racing families, the Mann family, unfortunately, Alicia Mann, the matriarch of the family, she was diagnosed with cancer earlier this spring. And so the Estevan Motor Speedway decided to give half of the 50-50 proceeds raised on opening night this past weekend to the Mann family to help with different costs of just trying to fight cancer. So I thought that was very touching. And I know a lot of the track sponsors also stepped up and helped to make that possible. So that's really cool that not only the racetrack, but the sponsors and the community all came together to support the Mann family and help raise some money for their cancer battle. So I thought that was really touching. So super cool, Estevan Motor Speedway. My second win of the week goes to Ty Wilkie, picking up his first victory since his health scare this past winter. He picked up the win in the INEX Legends, and it was good to see him return back to victory lane, and he looked really good out there. So congratulations, Ty, and it's so good to see Ty back in a race car in general. So great way to see him find success right away. And then my third win of the week goes to Caden Appelt, who had a terrible wreck on opening night at the Nodak Speedway, wrecked his car as Mason recapped. So I didn't realize they were already building a car. I mean, what perfect timing just to have that in the shadows. And I don't think they were quite ready to pull it out because I think he missed the points races last week in Nodak. So they took that time to quickly put the car back together or put the car together so they could race. And then he found victory lane this past Sunday up at the Nodak Speedway. So congratulations to Caden Appelt.
Good solid set of wins. I like all of those. I'll add 3 more and I'll do a bonus one because I'm surprised Jessup didn't take it. First one I'll give it to is one of our loyal listeners out there, Lindsey Hansen. He got his first top 10 in the Wissota Late Model over at I-94 on Friday, finished in 8th spot. So big congrats out to Lindsey he's got a sharp looking car this year. If you haven't seen his car, it looks really cool. It's just kind of like got a white, black, and gold scheme to it, and it looks pretty good out there. And so hopefully that's the first of many good runs for Lindsey Hansen. So big congrats out to him. Second win of the week is going to go to Taylor Stenvold, number 21 IMCA Sport Mod. And right now he's only been racing it up in Nodak, but kind of the focus with like the sport mods, you always think of like guys like Gabe Bishop, Robbie Roselli, Darren Medler is kind of like the hot shoes, but Taylor Stenvold has actually had a really good start to the year. 3 races, 3 top 5s, a 3rd and a pair of 4ths. And he's right up there in the thick of the points battle. And I don't think we're giving him enough credit for how strong he looks in that sport mod. Like he's looked really good the times I've seen him out there this summer. And so that's my second win of the week. And the third one, sticking up in mine, it goes to the Kyler Satrin and their racing team. Blew a motor in the heat race up in Minot on Sunday. They had their backup cars sitting at home and they were able to go home and get it, bring it out to the track. Started dead last and got up into the top 5 by the end of it. It was his car from last year that he brought to the track, and this new one that he's been kind of struggling with. And fortunately, the engine called it quits in the middle of the heat race. And so good job persevering because he's up in the thick of the points battle, and they have a kind of abbreviated points battle structure up at the Nodak Speedway for this summer. And so every night is very important as far as points go. And so those are my 3 wins of the week. The bonus one I have goes on a national level. Mr. Jessup Pelkey, did you see what happened down in Belleville, Kansas this weekend?
No.
So Kaylee Bryson, if you're familiar with that name, became the first woman to win a USAC national race.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's
I was not
big
going to get
win.
that one. I saw that they raced, but I didn't see the results.
Yep. So that was a very popular win when I saw that come across the social media airwaves.
Well,
No.
she is a good driver.
Yeah. Yeah. She's been knocking on the door for quite a while, but the times I've kind of seen her on the leaderboards and everything. And so those are our wins of the week. Any closing thoughts for episode 10 before we sign off? Miss our good friend John Breck, I'm sure he'll have all sorts of shenanigans and remarks from his time in Vegas or time watching the show. Oh, we have a Gordy sighting.
So my first question is, Do you think John is going to use sunscreen for his head?
Knowing
I
what the
To be indoors most of the day.
yeah, he's probably going to be indoors most of the time. He's not the only
So-
outdoors activity he does is just go to the racetrack.
So that leads me to the second question. When he gets off the plane, will his skin begin to burn kind of like a vampire's skin?
Well, are you assuming that he gets off on the tarmac itself, or
You're
doesn't
right.
go on the air bridge?
He wouldn't get off on the tarmac. He's going to have his limousine pick him up. Chauffeur.
The sad part is I could actually see John have like a limousine and a chauffeur.
Well, this is a work trip, so knowing
Exactly. Hence why he's going to have the
Or-
limo.
there's a possibility.
Well, whenever we get started over like at Dakota Speedway or Jamestown Speedway at this rate, maybe Jamestown gets a race in before the Dakota Speedway gets their second one in. He
We know
still
where
has
he's staying.
what's that?
We know what hotel he's staying at.
Oh, we should have our fans spam him.
Ooh,
is-
remember the billboard trucks that cruise up and down the strip down there? I remember the number for the
You think we could have one of those lovely ladies of the night go bother John?
we should. I know the number by heart. It's 702-696969.
6'9".
Yeah.
Should make a little surprise.
Oh gosh, John's gonna love this. He still has 2 words of the week to kind of get into the broadcast at some point.
What was it?
I forget. We change them every week now.
Cowabunga and Bazinga. Or no,
It was something fancy.
yeah, you had a fancier word last week.
Articulate.
No, that wasn't it.
I can't remember what I think it starts with a C.
Yeah.
We'll have to remind him of that whenever we get racing back going again for Mr.
If we
Breckel.
are.
But that goes for you too, Becca. You can use you can try to fit those words in the broadcast as well.
Is it only a Dakota Speedway thing, or could we try this in Jamestown too?
You could try it in Jamestown too.
Contraption.
No,
The
that
word
wasn't
is contraption.
this week.
Sure.
Sure.
No, we gotta give you a fun word. Oh, that's easy. Baby.
Oh yeah, that's a difficult one.
At intermission at the Jamestown Speedway. So as if you didn't need a reason to go support our local racetrack, it's their season opener, the Red Rebel Midwest Mod Tour.
The Rebel Red.
You could just say Rebel Midwest Mod Tour.
Tour and our gender
Oh.
reveal at intermission. So
Let's be honest. You'll pay for the whole seat, but when the gender reveal happens, you'll only need the edge. Why are you shaking your head, Mason? You're gonna be there.
Well, I'll be there, but I mean that line
Are you
is
even
just
gonna
so
be in your
overused by
seat?
you.
That's the best.
Mason will
line
probably be standing because he's gonna be video.
because he's on the edge.
Yeah, I'll be standing.
And
They did have a
Brittany-
really good turnout for testing tune this last week. Jamestown did. They had a lot of cars show up, so that's really encouraging to see, and a lot of new drivers. So fans, come out, support these new drivers. It's going to be a fun group to see over the Jamestown Speedway as well, and venture out to all your local racetracks this weekend because there's a lot of racing coming up.
Yeah,
And
if
what-
you don't get there, it's on you.
It's on you. Yes.
And you get the black flag if you don't make it.
You're gonna black flag our fans.
Oh yeah, nobody's safe.
He,
Look, Becca,
he's being like
I-
Ricky Stenhouse.
everyone's getting it. I'll be waiting.
With that, that'll do it for episode 10 of season 3 for the Track Packers podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, and follow. Be sure to give us a comment or a question that you'd like us to discuss. Follow us on the Spotify, Google, and Apple podcast platforms and give us a 5-star review. Thank you to our sponsors, Hitch Harness, Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol, and The Real Deal with B1. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Thank you to the veterans and those we have lost, and we will see you out there packing the track.